time to go to film school. Love this part of the week as we bring in film study professor Joe Fortunato with us on 93.5, 1590 WAKR. And I've already built up the movie. I'm going to let Joe kind of take it from there. Joe Fortunato, good morning, and go back to the 80s for us, my friend.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we're going back to the 80s, and we're going to celebrate the 35th anniversary of a very groundbreaking film, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which was released June 22nd, 1988. It was directed by Bob Zemeckis. It starred Bob Hoskins and Christopher Lloyd in their live-action characters, and Charles Fleischer and Kathleen Turner, who was uncredited, by the way, as the voices of some of the key characters. This film was nominated for 7 Oscars. It won 4, including editing, visual effects, sound editing, and a Special Achievement Oscar. The famous line in the movie, "I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way," was voted the 83rd greatest movie line by Premiere Magazine. The film's estimated budget of $70 million was the most expensive film produced in the 80s, and it had the longest on-screen credits for the film. There were 326 animators working full-time on the film, 82,000 frames of animation drawn, probably over 1 million drawings were estimated for the movie, so it was a pretty big deal. It was actually the first time that cartoon characters from competing Walt Disney and Warner Brothers appeared on screen together. In fact, it's the only time as of now. And because the movie was made by Disney's Touchstone Pictures, Warner Brothers would only allow the use of their biggest cartoon stars, Bugs Bunny and Daffy. They got as much screen time, only if they got as much screen time as Mickey and Donald. So for that reason, they're always kind of shown in pairs, such as there's a piano battle between Daffy and Donald and a parachute scene with Bugs and Mickey. And then at the end, there's a Porky Pig, That's All Folks, combined with a Tinkerbell movie ending. A lot of famous cartoon characters such as that weren't part of those Warner or Disney cadres, like Popeye, Olive Oyl, Superman, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Felix the Cat, Tom and Jerry. They were all scripted to appear in a scene that revolved around Marvin Acme's funeral, where all the tunes got together. But they couldn't get the rights on time to get all those characters. So, what might have been is something there. Another kind of interesting thing is, even though the film title is a question, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there's no question marks, because I don't know if you knew this, Ray, but it's considered bad luck in the industry to have a question mark in a title.
Ah, I did not know that. That's cool. I always wondered, because it is a question.
Yeah, and some other, actually, the film did very well, box office-wise, but like I said, it was very expensive. And the first test audiences were mostly 18 and 19-year-olds, and they hated it. And it was almost the entire audience walked out of the screening, but director Bob Zemeckis had final cut. He says he wasn't going to change a thing, so I guess his instincts were right. Charles Fleischer, who played Roger Rabbit, would deliver his lines off camera in full Roger Rabbit costume, including ears, gloves, orange coveralls. So that's very method. He's not even on camera, and he's playing that. A number of fun casting. Of course, the Judge Doom was the great Christopher Lloyd, but some other people that were considered or turned it down, even Christopher Lee, James Earl Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tim Curry, and Sting were all considered for Judge Doom. Eddie Murphy revealed on a later interview that he actually turned down the lead role of Eddie Valiant, the detective, and he said he regretted that decision. Steven Spielberg, who was a producer on the film, his first choice for Eddie Valiant was Harrison Ford.
Wow.
But Harrison's price was too high. And then for the voice of Roger Rabbit, some others who were considered is Paul Rubens, who's Pee Wee Herman, Eddie Deason, who a lot of people might remember from Grease, and Dom DeLuise were considered for that voice.
Dom DeLuise would have been fun in that role, wouldn't it?
It would have, yeah.
Okay, what else do you have?
Well, considering the possibilities, there was surprisingly very little merchandise made for the film. So if you have original merchandise, it might have some value to it. The film was well received by critics, but it did have its detractors, especially some of the Golden Age veterans and fans like Chuck Jones, the great Chuck Jones, the Warner Brothers animator, who was a consultant on the film, actually ended up loathing the final project and didn't really have a whole lot of nice things to say. Roger Rabbit, as a design, was described as having a Warner Brothers face, a Disney body, and a Tex Avery attitude. So any animation fans out there might understand all those references and put it all together. So we had Goofy's overalls, Mickey Mouse's gloves, Porky Pig's bow tie, so on and so forth. So there was a real effort to sort of make a composite of a lot of different characters.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, celebrating the anniversary of the release this week as we go back to 1988 as we went to film school with film study professor, our good friend Joe Fortunato. Joe, great job, my friend. We'll reconnect again next week. Thank you for making time.